Hey guys, so today is here's your activating strategy. It says, would you rather buy? So 18 eggs at this price, which is 2 for $8, or 18 eggs at this price, 97 cents, buy 2, get 1 free. So what I want you to do is look at all of the details. This package has 6 eggs, so that would mean you would need how many of these packages to make 18? In these packages, there's only 1 egg each at 97 cents per egg. But if you buy 2, you get 1 free. So which one would you rather buy? Go ahead and pause me and then figure this out for yourself. Okay, so hopefully you've paused me for a while and you had time to think. So let's look at the first package. The first package says you have 6 in each. So 6 times 3 would be 18 eggs. Okay, so that would mean I would need 3 packages. So if each package was 2 for $8, so then that would give me, I would need 3 packages. 2 of those packages would be $8, and half of $8 is 4. So that would be $12 that I would spend for 18 eggs. Okay, so let's look at the next one. The next one says buy 2, get 1 free. So how do I figure out how many eggs that would be? Well, I would take 18 and I would divide this by 3 for a reason. So the reason why I'm doing that is because I know that if I buy 2, I get 1 free. So I want to know how many groups I'm going to have. So if I divide 18 and divide it by 3, that gives me 6. So if I buy 2, I get 2 groups of 6, which is 12 eggs. And then 1 group of eggs that's completely free, and that would be 6. That would be completely free. So 12 plus 6, again, let me slide that over, would be 18 eggs. So I need to figure out 12 eggs times 97 cents. So I'm actually going to do my math on a calculator just to save some time. And no, I'm not cheating. All right, so I'm going to type in 97 hundredths, and I'm going to multiply that times 12 eggs, and that gives me $11.64. So would you rather buy 18 eggs over here for $12 or 18 eggs over here for $11.64. Well, I'm going to pick $11.64 because that would save me money. All right? All right, so we've got that. So our learning target today is I can classify two-dimensional figures in a hierarchy based on properties such as polygons, triangles, and quadrilaterals. Today we're specifically going to look at quadrilaterals. So I hope you have with you your hierarchy so that you can reference that. And I hope you have with you the paper assignment that I gave you yesterday. So if you have that, you can place that down. Let me make sure I have the right one. All right, here's the one that we had for you for yesterday. Now, in the video that I made yesterday, number 9 on that one was incorrect, and I did address that in the note section. Number 9 should have been a quadrilateral, a parallelogram, and a trapezoid, okay, for yesterday's problems, okay? So let's look at today's. So a couple things that I want to talk to you about just so you understand a little bit better. I'm actually going to make this PowerPoint a little bit smaller and stretch out my camera so that you can see that a lot better. Move me over here. Okay, so when we see these tick marks are this one little line here, represents congruence, okay? So that tells you when you have a line that is congruent to the opposite line or to the other line that has that same mark, okay? When I have 2 angles, that's showing congruence with the angle that also has 2 lines. This line has 1 arch and 1 arch here, so that shows me that these 2 are congruent with each other across the way. So let's talk about it. The first thing that I notice is this is a four-sided shape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that makes number 1 a quadrilateral. Okay, so for number 1, I'm going to put a Q for quadrilateral. The other thing that I notice is it has 4 congruent sides. Okay, so because those sides are congruent, I know that it is a rhombus because a rhombus has 4 congruent sides. Now, these other lines, these little arrows here, those arrows show if they are parallel to one another. So I have 2 sets of parallel sides. So this is a parallelogram. Okay, and according to Georgia, our definition of a trapezoid is having at least 1 set, and I can see that there's 2 sets, so yes, I have at least 1 set. So it is also a trapezoid. So for number 1, I have quadrilateral because it's a 4-sided shape. I have did I write rectangle? I should not have written rectangle. It should have been, no, rhombus. So it should be H, not R. H. The letter H, because over here it says write H for rhombus. All right, so I have H for rhombus. I have a P for a parallelogram, and I also have a T for trapezoid, okay? All right, so let's look at number 2. I don't see any arrows showing parallel sides. I don't see any angles that are congruent. All I see is 4 sides. So because number 2 just is a 4-sided shape, it has no sets of parallel sides. It is not congruent anywhere. It doesn't have any congruent sides. It is just simply a quadrilateral. So number 2 is just a quadrilateral. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, I see 1 set of parallel sides. So I also see that it has 4 sides, so it's a quadrilateral, number 3. It has 1 set of parallel sides, so these arrows represent how they are parallel. So I'm going to write it is a trapezoid because a trapezoid has at least 1 set of parallel sides. The other thing I notice is it has 2 right angles, but it doesn't have 4. So because it does not have 4 right angles, it is not a rectangle. This is simply a quadrilateral that is a trapezoid because it has 1 set of parallel sides. All right, so let's look at number 4. I noticed 2 tick marks here and 2 tick marks here, so that shows congruence that these 2 lines, and notice these 2 are adjacent or right next to each other. So I know that the definition of kite is adjacent sides that are congruent, okay? So right away I'm thinking about a kite. So for 1, it is a quadrilateral, and 2, this is a kite, okay? It does not have any other classifications that it meets, so I'm going to stop right there for number 4. All right, let's look at number 5. For number 5, I see that it is a 4-sided shape, so it's a quadrilateral. I also see that it has these arrows here and here, so that shows that those are parallel. It has these arrows here and here, so that shows that those sides are parallel as well. So it has at least 1 set of parallel sides, and it has 2 sets of parallel sides. So it is a parallelogram and a trapezoid. And then it has also 4 congruent sides. These little tick marks here let me know that this side is congruent to this side, and that side's congruent to that side. So it is a rhombus, and remember H is for rhombus. And then I noticed that it has 4 right angles. So a rectangle has 4 right angles. But because it has 4 right angles and 4 equal sides, it is also a square. So in this case, number 5 is a quadrilateral. It is a trapezoid. It is a parallelogram. It's a rhombus, a rectangle, and a square. Okay? All right, so, and if we remember our hierarchy, where did I put mine? Oh, it's under here. That makes sense because when I'm going up always. So a square is always a rhombus. It's always a rectangle. It's always a parallelogram. It's always a trapezoid. It is always a quadrilateral, and it is always a polygon. So whenever I go up, it is always those things. Okay? All right, so let's look at number 6. Number 6 shows parallel side here and here, here and here, and of course it's a 4-sided shape, so it is a quadrilateral. Since it has 2 sets of parallel sides, then it also has at least 1 set, so it is a trapezoid and a parallelogram. Okay, now let's look at the sides. I noticed that it has 2 congruent sides here and a set of congruent sides there. Okay, so there's no other classification for that to have just 2 sets of congruent sides other than a parallelogram. Its angles are not congruent, and all 4 sides are not congruent. So because it has no right angles, it is not a rectangle, but it is a quadrilateral, it is a trapezoid, and it is a parallelogram. Okay, let's look at number 7. Number 7 has 1 set of parallel sides, and that's it. So it's a 4-sided shape. It does not have any congruent sides, and it has only 1 set of parallel sides. So it is a quadrilateral, and it is a trapezoid. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. So this one, I noticed that it has 2 sets of parallel sides represented by the arrows. It is a 4-sided shape, so it is a quadrilateral. Because it has 2 sets, then it also has 1 set, so it's a trapezoid and a parallelogram. Okay, the other thing that I noticed is it does not have 4 congruent sides. I see 2 tick marks here, 2 here, that represents that these sides are the same, and 1 tick mark and 1 tick mark there, so that represents that those are the same, okay? So it is not a rhombus because it does not have 4 congruent sides. But it does have 4 right angles. So because it has 4 right angles, it is a rectangle. All right, next one, number 9. All right, so one thing that I noticed is, of course, it is a 4-sided shape. Let me slide this back down. 4-sided shape. I noticed that it does not have 4 equal sides, but it does have 2 sets of parallel sides. So because it has 2 sets, then it at least has 1. So it is both a trapezoid and a parallelogram. I noticed that it has 2 different sets of sides, but it does not have 90-degree angles. So I'm going to stop with it being a parallelogram. All right, next one, number 10. Number 10 has 4 sides and 1 set of parallel sides, so it is a quadrilateral and a trapezoid, and that is all for 10. For number 11, I noticed that it has 2 congruent adjacent angles. So this side is, congruent adjacent sides. So this side is congruent to this side, and that side is congruent to that side. So it is a quadrilateral, and because the congruence is adjacent, then it is a kite as well. Okay. All right, and then last one, number 12. It has 2 sets of parallel sides, and it is a 4-sided shape, so it's a quadrilateral. It is also a trapezoid because it has at least 1 set of parallel sides. It actually has 2 sets. So because it has 2 sets, it's also a parallelogram. It does not have 4 right angles, so it is not a rectangle, but I noticed that each side has 1 tick mark, so that lets me know that every one of those sides is congruent, so that would make it also a rhombus, and we use an H to represent rhombus, okay? All right, so I hope this was helpful today going over this. You do have another assignment. So the assignment is actually linked below. It is the Classify Figures worksheet number 8, I believe. So hopefully this helped you to understand that, and then go ahead and do the worksheet that is attached below the video. Let me know if you have any questions or if I made any mistakes today. All right, have a good day, guys.